Welcome back to PRN Test Drive. I'm your host, Nile, and today we're in the beautiful city of Orangeville, Ontario for Ajax Test Fest. This is an annual event for all journalist members to be able to come out and drive a bunch of the popular Canadian cars here back to back to back. And today we have a very special vehicle for you today. This, my friends, is the 2026 Porsche 911 Carrera GTS. This is a vehicle that I have been looking forward to drive for quite some time now. In fact, here on the show, in the last 15 years that we've been doing Test Drive, we've only featured 2 Porsche models, and none of them have been brand new. So not only do we finally get the chance to drive a number of new Porsches back to back, but we are driving one of the most sought after when it comes to any sports car. So we're going to be going over some of the features, pricing, and everything else you need to know if you're in the market for this vehicle, and we'll be taking it on a drive. So let's get started. All right, my friends, we're on the road now in the Porsche 911 Carrera. For me, this is like something I've been waiting for most of my life, really. I'll turn off the exhaust, give you a bit of a reprieve of it as I talk for a minute here, because I do want to talk about this car, because this is a first for us here on Test Drive, but it's also a first for me because, as I mentioned, we haven't featured any Porsche models that were new up until this point. So we had a chance to drive an older Cayenne and an older Macan, and now we've done the Macan 4, the fully electric version, and then this is now a turbo hybrid, giving you the best performance, but also, gotta imagine, probably pretty decent overall fuel efficiency if you want it to be. Now we're in sport mode. Let me see, if I turn it into, not really wet, but let's put it into normal. It doesn't get a whole lot quieter, does it? Oh, yes. So here's why I'm so excited, because A, these are some of the best cars on the market. If you're a die-hard car enthusiast, you want just sheer driving pleasure, the Porsche 911 is the car. And yeah, I could spend hours talking about how Porsche has established itself as a true performance, a racing brand, a brand that people want to buy. It's a brand that almost appreciates in value. No matter what kind of vehicle you buy from them, they're almost always going to be worth more down the road. I mean, older 911s are worth more now than they have ever been. But I want to talk a little bit about this car, but I also want to talk about how it's one of those moments for me that, as much as I'm enjoying it, because you really can't not enjoy this, but this has been the dream car for my wife ever since she was a small girl. And I showed her the photo of the static one. You can see, obviously, I'm driving this one here. It's got a red interior with the silver exterior. It's not quite the same as the one that's in some of the static B-roll shots, but I sent her the photo of that, and she lost her mind, because that's it. She wants a blue 911 with the PDK, because she doesn't want manual. And to be honest, I don't want manual either. The Porsche transmission, the PDK transmission, is one of the best performance-oriented automatic transmissions money can buy. I mean, look, it's just instant. Oh my God. Instant responsiveness. And I mean, come on. Oh, yes. Oh my God. Oh, that sounds so good. And I mean, it's kind of crappy weather out right now, so I can't fully appreciate this car. I had hoped to take it on the handling course that we have here for the Ajax Test Fest. It's the annual event put on here by Ajax for member journalists such as myself to be able to drive some of the most popular vehicles sold here in Canada back to back. And when I heard that Porsche was going to be here, I knew I needed to get behind the wheel of those cars. And this, I'm like kind of at the end of our event now, and I finally had a chance to get behind the wheel of this, but it's raining, it's kind of miserable out, but still, I mean, it's hard to not enjoy the drive, even though it's just not the nicest weather out. I mean, and you know what? I know my wife's going to hate this when she hears this, but we do talk about it here on Test Drive. I'm a big guy, okay? I'm losing weight, though, but I'm still a big guy. I was worried I wasn't going to fit into this, but surprisingly, it's not bad at all. I mean, for what this car is, thinking back to something like the Jaguar F-Type, that was a pretty small sports car, two-door, two-seater. I had no problems fitting in that either. So, you know, I was worried. I actually, when we were filming the static B-roll, I had to sit in that car just to make sure. But I've got enough space here. The seat's as far back as we'll go. But I do fit in here. And, you know, maybe in a few months from now, I'll be even smaller, can fit in it even easier. But yeah, this is just, it's like a life-changing experience, I would say, to finally be able to drive one of these. Now I'll put it back into manual shift mode just because it's so fun. Now I'm not going to be able to go over any like really hardcore specific details about this. It is a first drive. It's just more for fun, just for you to be able to experience the car with me. We don't have a lot of B-roll of it either. I was able to film a tiny bit of it, but you know, effectively we're here just to enjoy the sounds of this car, enjoy the performance of it, try to get the most out of it considering the weather is just not very cooperative. And I mean, it's a rear-wheel drive car, right? So I'm not going to be doing anything silly, but oh my god. Oh, that sounds so good. Oh, buddy. I can see there's always complaints as these vehicles progress, right? We're moving into the future. We're adding things like hybrid technology in here. It's not a first for Porsche, but you know, the purists out there might be upset about it. But man, oh man, does that sound really good. Oh, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I only get 45 minutes with this. As of filming this, like this second, I've used up like 11 minutes of my time with it. A little bit more than that, like 13 maybe. So I get to enjoy this for another 30 minutes. But it's hard to ask for a better scenic area. We're in Orangeville, Ontario. It's about an hour north of Toronto. And, you know, the trees are turning orange. We have a little bit of light mist coming down. It's not the greatest, but I mean, oh, just so good. Yep. You know, growing up, I had a friend in high school. His dad had a 911 turbo, and he also had a Porsche Cayenne turbo, and you know, it was just like both of them were the same color. They were silver. Pretty sure the interiors were black, so they were not the most creative of choices for it, but man, were those nice cars. I got to drive the Cayenne once. That was a beast. I always wish I could have driven the 911, but honestly, it just sat in the garage on a battery tender. But being able to drive one of these now really is just like, I want to say it's a boyhood dream of mine, but like for me, it's never been about the Porsches. It's been like, if you know me, you know I'm not like big into supercars, hypercars, anything like that. But like the car on my wall, the car that I still would love to drive, that if I had a multitude of millions in my bank account, would still be the Mercedes McLaren SLR. That is my dream car. So to be fair, Porsche was never the car on my wall, but that doesn't mean I am not excited to be driving this, because it's just such a treat. I mean, this car, $240,000 give or take. Now that's like $22,000 luxury tax, and to be fair, the configuration might be a little different on this specific one, because the pricing sheet that we got was for that blue one. I would go for blue, but I mean, listen, you're buying a Porsche, you have the opportunity to customize a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to the interior, exterior of this car to truly make it your own. I think that this is a very classic feeling configuration. Silver exterior, you got the red interior, and it's not even like a very bright red. I like it a little bit darker with the black. So while we're driving along here, I will talk a little bit more about how the interior has been. So, you know, we talked about space. You know, obviously for me, it's not huge, right? But when it comes to the overall comfort, it's actually pretty decent, right? Seats are pretty firm, and you know, there's not enough bolstering that it makes it uncomfortable for me. So surprisingly, I'm actually in a pretty good seating position. Visibility is also great, which is you know, kind of what you expect. Even out the back, you know, I was a little worried about the parcel shelf sitting back there being in the way a little bit, but no problems whatsoever. So I've been pretty comfortable in here. Yeah, some of the controls are not quite reachable for me, just based on how I'm seated, but yeah, it works. Kind of similar, in fact, to the Macan. Depending on when you're watching this, you know, we feature the Macan 4 here at Test Fest. kind of similar setup here. I like it. You know, if you go back and watch I think it was a 16 Cayenne that we did, like base model Cayenne. There's just plethora of buttons, and there's not quite as much here, but that's fine because you don't need as much. There isn't as much going on. You're really more connected to the car, so you don't need a whole bunch of gadgets and wizardry to enjoy this vehicle. You just kind of go. And you know, infotainment's not too bad either. We don't have a whole lot going on here. We got a map, that's pretty good. You got your performance stuff. You know, we could go in there, we can extend our spoiler if we want to have it up. And then we've got some dynamic stuff here. So overall, you know, works pretty well. You know, it's kind of nice because most Porsche owners, they're not going to take this car out if the weather is rough, right? If it's raining, especially if it's snowing. But it's raining out. These are going to be in the garage. But it is nice. Oh, I hope you can hear that exhaust. I believe I've turned off the noise cancellation on my mic, so hopefully you're picking it up, but it sounds so good. Oh, yes. Man, oh man. I get it now. I understand why people like these cars. I wish that I really do wish I could have taken on that course for you. I don't have any footage of it, unfortunately, but I was watching while I was in the Macan waiting. One of the other journalists took this on the course, and honestly, I couldn't believe how fast that thing was going up the straight line and then just mashing on the brakes, and it stops on a dime. If you want to see how that course is, I did do it with the Macan, so check out that video. But yeah, I'm not going to take it on this. It's just, I think it's too wet. Oh my God, that's good. Oof. Oh, and I can feel it. Like we're going the speed limit, and I can feel if I go down, it's slipping a little bit because there's just so much power going to those rear wheels. That's awesome, unbelievable. This is great. I'm enjoying my time with this, and it makes sense. You know, you're spending a lot of money. You expect it to be really good. So this has been fun. Now, I would say, as I have with the other videos we've been filming here at Test Fest, if you have any questions about this car, let us know and we'll try to answer them for you. I do hope that this is something that we can feature again down the road. I would love to spend an entire week with one of these. I don't know if my daughter would want to fit in the back there. Probably not. But I know my wife would be absolutely enamored to have this in the garage for a week, even for a couple of days. So, but let us know. You never know. It could happen. We might be able to get our hands on it and be able to give you a full week-long review with it. But just for the interest of you being able to hear me, let's put it back into normal mode here. Oh, I guess the exhaust was not even... Oh, I should have kept that on the whole time. Put it back into normal mode here so you can hear me a little bit. But thank you for watching. Yeah, as always, we invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I know most of you haven't, so please click that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us get to our next milestone. But thanks for watching. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Take care. That's how you take a corner in a Porsche, nice and slow.